Hey cake friends. So this year somebody paid me to make my birthday cake as a gift. And you know, as bakers always have a cake we want to do, so I was super excited. There was a cake another baker made, Sugar Sisters, that I loved, and that was my inspo for this cake. I started with 7-inch rounds. I cut them so I can get a heart shape. I am a chocolate girly, so I went with double chocolate on the bottom and that delicious chocolate buttercream. Yes, it is as good as it looks. I do use black cocoa powder and it really makes it rich and delicious, and a little bit does go a long way. For the top layer, I did decide on cookies and cream filling and the cookies and cream sponge, since not all my peoples like chocolate. But since it was my birthday, you was finna get chocolate, okay? You was either gonna get a lot of chocolate or you was gonna get a little bit of chocolate, but you was about to get this chocolate, okay? And then I did cut the little triangle in front to complete the heart shape. And then I started with my crumb coat. I did use yellow since my final coat was going to be yellow. I don't always match the crumb coat to the final coat. It really just depends. But I had some leftover yellow from a recent order that I needed to use, so it just worked out that way. And then after I finished my crumb coat, I popped her in the freezer. And then once I took her out, I took these pieces that I cut up from the tops that I had sliced off the top of the cakes to stick on the sides for the bookends. And then I covered them up with buttercream, and then I popped it back in the freezer. And then once I took that out, I did my final coat. And again, when I do my final coat, I don't try to get it all pretty with that room temp buttercream. I just try to get an even layer of buttercream on there. And then I pop it back in the freezer for about 15 minutes. And then I go ahead with my scraper and hot water and clean it up here like I'm doing now. Just clean it up, get it all nice and pretty. And then after I did that, I went ahead and started to put my bookends on, these nice bookends I made with my edible paper and fondant, and then my fondant flowers. And then I did have fondant on there for the paper at first, but then I remembered I had wafer paper, so I used that. A little bit more tedious, but I like the realistic look of it, so I went with that. And then this red solo cup for the guidelines for the ruffles, I found that hack on Facebook a while ago, and it just works out better for me than the tool that I got on Amazon. That tool just sucked for me, just didn't work. Not the way that some people just made it look so easy, but it just did not work for me. This, I slowed down so you guys could see just how bad I messed this ruffle up. And I could feel it in my bones how bad I messed it up. But I just kept going for some odd reason. But this was one of those times I did have to just pop it back in the freezer and scrape it off. But when I took it out, I forgot to hit record. But I finished it out, put my fondant flowers on it, and added silver pearls, my silver happy birthday topper. And this is how it came out. I loved it. It made my birthday so happy. I hope you guys like it.